to get an NFC East division title. We'll dive into the state of the race next. This is the Eagles Radio Network, presented by PNC Bank. Brilliantly boring since 1865 on 94 WIP.
This truck season, think about all the things you can do in a Chevy truck. You'll be able to, or you can even just, with impressive towing, incredible bed and tailgate functionality, and multiple powertrains, Chevy trucks have what you need to get things done. When you want to do it all, Chevy's got you. Chevrolet, together let's drive.
Hi, Philadelphia. I'm Tom Redden, Financial Secretary Treasurer for Steamfitters Local Union 420, a proud 121-year-old labor organization. We have been providing the HVAC service sector with the safest and most highly skilled HVAC service techs. Our members have been trained in all aspects of the HVAC service sector, including boiler and chiller service, as well as refrigeration systems and controls. Contact Steamfitters Local Union 420 for all your service-related needs. Visit our website at lu420.com. Go Birds!
Our team is on the road to victory, and the road to beautiful new kitchen appliances leads to National Appliance Warehouse. Shop with confidence that you're getting the lowest possible price, thanks to Price Assure. And customers always enjoy the winning customer experience, delivered by pleasant and knowledgeable National Appliance Warehouse team members. Now is the time to fall into savings on cutting-edge appliances. Preview the savings at nationalappliancewarehouse.com, or visit their showroom on 202 in tax-free Wilmington, or in Middletown, Delaware.
I'm here for PJ Fitzpatrick. I've got to tell you, don't go with just any guy to replace your roof. Choose PJ Fitzpatrick. Why choose the B team when you could get the A team from PJ Fitzpatrick? Trust PJ Fitzpatrick to get your roof done right with a lifetime guarantee on materials and labor. PJ Fitzpatrick has thousands of 5-star reviews and over 40 years of experience. Plus, they can install most roofs in one day. Visit trustpj.com today to set up a free design consultation and take advantage of the fall promotions.
The Piazza Auto Group is proud to have served as the halftime sponsor of the Eagles Radio Network for over 20 years. As we hope for another championship, it's the perfect time to drive home in the new or certified pre-owned vehicle you've been wanting. The Piazza Auto Group features 18 brands, including Honda, Acura, Mazda, Hyundai, Genesis, Mini, Nissan, Subaru, and Volkswagen. To find the location nearest you or to shop their extensive inventory, visit PiazzaAutoGroup.com.
At Independence Blue Cross, we take care of the people who take care of you. Everyday heroes like firefighters, police officers, teachers, farmers, and healthcare workers. Doctors and hospitals across the region have IBX, and they know what it means to have reliable access to care. So whether you're saving lives or just trying to live a healthier life, count on IBX, the region's #1 health insurer for 85 years. Learn more at IBX.com.
Miss Jill Scott here, partnering with Pico, the team that powers what matters to my hometown and yours. They're connected to our communities because they live, work, and play here too. You can find Pico volunteering in our neighborhoods, embracing clean energy, partnering with local nonprofits like mine, and working around the clock to make sure the lights are on and the natural gas is flowing. And through it all, they're here to make sure we're all shining together. Learn more at pico.com/shine.
This football season, get in the game at Acme. Buy participating products and receive touchdown tokens to redeem for entries into the Swoop In and Win sweepstakes. You could win 2025 Eagles season tickets or autographed Eagles merch and more. Acme, the official supermarket of the Philadelphia Eagles.
Check it out, the new iPhone 16 Pro with Apple Intelligence and camera control for easy access. At Verizon, you can get it when you trade in any phone from one of their top brands.
Any?
Any.
Even if it's 4 years old?
Yeah.
Even if it's 4 years old and I drop it on the sidewalk?
Yep.
Even if it's 4 years old and I drop it on the sidewalk, then a scooter runs it over, so now it's not just old and cracked, but shattered?
With Verizon, the answer is always yes. New and existing customers can trade in any phone from one of our top brands in any condition for the new iPhone 16 Pro with unlimited Ultimate. Trade-in terms apply. See Verizon.com for details.
This week at Acme, don't miss the football item of the week. Utz potato chips or pretzels for $1.99 each when you buy 3. Stop in and discover why football is better at Acme, your tailgating headquarters.
You're listening to the Verizon Pregame Show on the Eagles Radio Network.
Welcome back to the Verizon Pregame Show. The Philadelphia Eagles, powered by Verizon. Hugh Douglas, Joe Giglio, Eliot, Shorr-Parks here as we get you set for the Eagles and the Buccaneers. Dave Spadero will hop on in a little bit to give us some reaction to the inactives. We know the Eagles are pretty banged up today. And Eliot, earlier you said that, today's the kind of day where maybe it's house money. And I think it's interesting as we dive in here to the state of the race in the NFC East, the state of the race here, because you look at the NFC East right now. Let's hit the state of the race and dive into it.
The state of the race.
All right, Eliot, we got a game already this week in the NFC East. Week 4 got underway with the Cowboys and the Giants. Eliot, give me your take on the division right now as we are 3 weeks and 1 game in for a couple of these teams.
Yeah, the Eagles should be expected to win the division. I think that's the best way to look at it. They're the best team in the division. They are better than the Cowboys, I believe. Washington's looked good for sure. Washington, that was an impressive win last week at Cincinnati. And, to see what Jaden Daniels is doing, it's impressive, especially as a rookie. But Jalen Hurts is the best quarterback in the division, so he should be expected to win that division. I mean, you're right that, it's a little more interesting maybe a month in than we thought, but I don't think expectations should have changed. This team has the best roster. They have the best head coach. They should have the best quarterback, and that should lead to them winning the division.
So I agree with you. Expectations shouldn't have changed. But, Hugh, the division looks different to me. So here's what looks different. In the last few years, it has been an Eagles-Cowboys race to about 11 or 12 wins, right? You've needed to really win a bunch of games to win the division.
Yeah.
It doesn't feel like that to me anymore. And that's why when Eliot said house money, and you said earlier 2 and 2 is okay, I agree with you guys because I think this division could be won at 10 wins, maybe even 9. Dallas does not look very good. They look like a 500-ish team. The Giants are probably what we thought they were, last place, 5 or 6 wins. The Commanders, though, Hugh, they may be in this mix now that could get to 8 or 9 or 10 wins based on their young quarterback. But it just feels to me like the division is not as – it just looks different than it did, I thought, 3 weeks ago.
Yeah, you're talking about a Dallas Cowboy team that gave up 281 yards in the air to Daniel Jones.
Yep.
And Daniel Jones didn't have – he had a decent night as a quarterback, didn't throw any touchdowns, threw 1 interception. But they look like they're leaking oil right now.
And now they have big injuries. Micah Parsons out. And DeMarcus Lawrence out as the cannons go off down here in Tampa.
Cannons are going off here in Tampa Bay. Yes,
that is really unsettling.
You guys are safe. Yes, that is the
really
Cannons are getting their touchdown preparations ready for today.
I knew what it was right away. Hugh, there was fear in Hugh's eyes. Everyone watching on YouTube couldn't see that.
Like they shoot.
It's just the Cannons. But you're right. The Cowboys are banged up. Lawrence and Parsons going to be out weeks here.
Yeah, and they don't look like the team that they looked like when they played the Cleveland Browns early in the season. They look like world beaters. They've come down to earth a little bit. That offense looks a little bit disjointed. So, yeah, you're right. The Commodores make this really, really exciting with the young quarterback that they have down there. But I'm of the mindset that he's still a young quarterback. And to take the leap to say that they're going to be in position to win the division, they might be, but I don't think that's going to happen.
What's on the menu? Sponsored by Hatfield. Put pork on your fork. Visit simplyhatfield.com for game day recipe inspiration. Eliot, that's the X factor that may have changed this division the most, that maybe we have a third team now. How seriously do you take the Commanders? I take them seriously because I think the division could be won at 9 or 10. If you tell me it takes 12, I don't think Washington's ready to do that. But if it's 9 or 10 and you have a young quarterback that could play, I mean, they just went on the road and won as a 7.5-point underdog.
Yeah, I mean, a quarterback changes absolutely everything. The Eagles saw that in 2017 with Carson. Now, he wasn't a rookie, but even in 2016, they got out to that good start. They did fall off. But the second you get a quarterback, everything changes. And so looking at this Washington team, I agree. I don't think they can get to 12 wins, but I don't know if the Eagles can get to 12 wins. It wouldn't surprise me if we're looking at an NFC race in the final few weeks where it is 9 wins, 10 wins, and that team, the first one to get to 11 is the one that wins it.
I think you're right. And it does change the look at the schedule over the next month as well. Because, Eliot, this looked daunting to me, when you got to past the Giants in a couple weeks. But now I'm not sure. The next really, really huge game for the Eagles might be that Commanders game in early November because they have this game. They have a bye, Cleveland. Then they have the Giants, Cincinnati, which should be a tough game, but they don't look quite as good as we thought they would be. Jacksonville looks bad. Dallas is banged up. That Washington game is suddenly one I'm circling on the calendar early November.
Yeah, I agree with you. Obviously, that's a far way away. A lot could change. But I would also say that while the upcoming schedule is noteworthy, and I think that's why it matters that today is not an absolute must-win game. But the thing about the upcoming schedule is the Eagles don't have a right to look over anybody right now. This is a team last year. They got blown out by the Giants. They lost at home to the Cardinals. They lost at home to the Falcons 2 weeks ago. So, yes, the upcoming games look easier. Jacksonville, I mean, they might have a new head coach by the time they come to Philadelphia. Cincinnati could be completely out of it at that point. But this Eagles team plays inconsistent football because they turn it over from the quarterback position. So while the schedule does look easier, there's no game I think you can go into with this team and say they will definitely win it.
Well, with that, I mean, it's remarkable. And we've talked about this a lot, Eliot, like waiting and looking ahead to see if they'll ever again or whenever it's going to happen again, win a game by more than a score. So it's now 14 consecutive games the Eagles have won without winning one by more than one possession. So every
I
game.
think they've won two games by 10 or more points over the past 23 games or something like that. It's been a really long time.
The crazy part is before that, right before this stretch was the bulk of 2022, and we kind of got used to them blowing the doors off everyone. Hugh, it's a good thing they win close games, but if you're in a close game every week, things like the Atlanta game could happen. I agree with Eliot's point that we look at the schedule, they could win all of those, but they could all be a game in the fourth quarter where it's like the Eagles are winning by 3, all of them.
You know, it's funny. I played in an era where to win by 2 or 3 points, that was kind of the norm. And then we went through that phase where, you know, there was a lot of high-powered offenses and the scoring was up because of the way that they changed.
Gone back now.
Yeah, the way that they changed philosophy and everything of you know, just defending receivers. But now it just seems like that's the case now. And the thing that bothers me when it comes to the Eagles, and it played a big role in the game last week, is that now you're concerned about the coaching moves. You know, coaching matters. Whether you want to believe it or not, talent is a big key indicator in how well your team is playing or how good your team is, but coaching matters as well. And if you're going into a game and you're making a lot of mistakes that are costing you 2 points here, 3 points there, then there's a chance that you're not going to win those football games.
I think it's a good point.
The thing, too, really quick to piggyback off that, there's, without question, a skill to winning close games. I'm not completely diminishing it. But it is somewhat luck. Like Saquon drops a ball, all of a sudden they lose that close game. If he catches it, they win that game. And if the game's coming down to 4 or 5 plays, you have to hope they go your way. We've seen 2 great Eagles teams in the past 10 years, 2017 and 2022. And what did those teams do? They blew out other teams. They blew out bad teams. They blew out even some of the good teams they faced. Ultimately, we can talk ourselves into saying winning close games is a sign they're a tough team. What it really is a sign that they're inconsistent and they make a lot of mistakes and that they're just going to have to hope some of these games go their way. But yeah, they need to start blowing some teams out. What that really means is they need to start playing better football.
The other thing with that, to offer Hugh's point and yours, it puts the spotlight if every game's close on Nick Sirianni. If they're up 14, we're not talking about a one little decision here.
Right.
If it's a 2-point game, that matters a lot, whether he got it right or he didn't. On the other side, we'll talk to Dave Spadaro. We'll get reaction to the Inactives. How are the Eagles going to move the football today? Who's going to get the touches? We'll discuss it next with a lot of injuries. The Eagles Radio Network is presented by PNC Bank. Brilliantly boring since 1865 on 94 WIP.
So last year I had the bright idea to dig up part of my backyard to put in a new patio. Little did I know that underground electrical for most of my neighborhood ran through my backyard. One wrong hit of the shovel and bam, lights went out, my hair turned white, and now I can wirelessly charge my smartphone. You know, they say hindsight is 20/20, but 2/20? That's something completely different. Trust me. Call 811 before you dig. Know what's below and help us hit 50 and 5. 50% less damage to buried utilities in 5 years. For info, visit pa1call.org.
When it comes to your home, trust is everything. For 45 years, Kitchen Magic has built a reputation for transforming kitchens with precision and care. From custom cabinets to countertops, backsplashes to storage solutions. And we get the job done fast. In just a few days, your dream kitchen becomes a reality without the hassle. So trust the name your neighbors have relied on for decades. Kitchen Magic. Get your free in-home consultation at kitchenmagic.com and let's cook up something extraordinary.
Hey, it's Rhea. Fall is upon us, and now is the perfect time to head over to Lexus of Cherry Hill for the L-Certified Fall Collection Sales Event. It's much nicer than pumpkin spice. They have over 300 new and L-Certified pre-owned Lexus to choose from. Shop great deals and save with special finance rates on L-Certified Lexus vehicles now through November 4th. Stop and see my friend Tony Labello and his team, or visit online at lexusofcherryhill.com. Lexus of Cherry Hill, family owned and operated.
Watching our birds with the family is tradition. So is saving money on your heating bills. Sign up for the CNC Heating and Air Conditioning Maintenance Plan to minimize the wear and tear of your system and lower your bills this winter. In need of an HVAC replacement, CNC makes budgeting your new system easy with their 0% financing options. CNC Heating and Air Conditioning, your local York certified comfort experts. Schedule your free estimate today at cc-hvac.com.
A strong lineup can make a good football team great. The stuff of champions. At Deborah Heart and Lung Center, our lineup is deep. Cardiologists to cardiothoracic surgeons, electrophysiology to heart failure specialists, and everywhere in between. Offense, defense, and special teams. That's why Deborah is one of the premier heart hospitals in the country, right here in South Jersey. Remember, when it's your heart, you don't take chances. DemandDeborah.org.
The reviews are in for New Jersey's smash hit.
Want to multiply your win? Maybe times it up by 10. Get New Jersey Lottery's hit. Putting on the blitz. Cash Blitz!
Courtney from Delran says Cash Blitz scratch-offs are a real winner.
20, 50, 200 times more cash, yeah.
And Joe from Hohokus says, play Cash Blitz scratch-offs. You could win up to $4 million.
Don't miss it. Putting on the blitz.
Must be 18 or over to buy a lottery ticket. Please play responsibly. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER.
If you're looking to furnish your home or replace your old furniture, your journey begins and ends at Bucks County Estate Traders. One piece of advice, make sure you have time when you come here. The 58,000 square foot showroom is a furniture wonderland. Quality high-end pieces with inventory changing daily. It's all here. Mid-century modern, traditional, vintage, antique, and name brands. They'll ship anywhere, or you can pick up in-store. Bucks County Estate Traders in Hatfield or at buckscountyestatetraders.com.
We are all quarterbacks of our financial future, and we have to be boldly committed to the process. It begins with a game plan, preparing yourself for success on and off the field. Because when the lights are on, that's when preparation meets opportunity. And the best part about winning is winning as one. Build your tomorrow with Lincoln Financial.
Lincoln Financial is the marketing name for Lincoln National Corporation and affiliates, copyright 2024. Lincoln Financial is a sponsor of Jalen Hurts, who has received compensation.
True Philly fans know that thirsty birds fly faster with Bird Gang Spirits. Bird Gang's starting lineup of bourbon, vodka, and tequilas are made for true Philly fans. The pre-gamers, the tailgaters, dieharders, and lifelongers. This year's limited edition release of Bird Gang commemorates the 75th anniversary of the Eagles' 1949 World Championship. Pick up a bottle at your liquor store today or order directly at BOTLD.com. Bird Gang Spirits. Go Birds! 2024 Bird Gang Spirit. Direct delivery available only to PA residents. Please drink responsibly.
This is the Verizon Pregame Show on Eagles Radio.
Welcome back to the Verizon Pregame Show. The Philadelphia Eagles powered by Verizon. The inactives are out. No surprise. We knew about Lane and Devontae and A.J. Brown all out for today. Let's talk to Dave Spadaro now about the inactives and how the Eagles are going to get by without the injured players. Dave, not a surprise because we knew that Lane was out, but it does beg the question of a couple of things. One, how they're going to distribute the football without those star weapons. What do you anticipate in terms of the wide receivers and who's out there the most today?
Yeah, I mean, I think you'll see a lot of Jahan Dotson. You'll see Paris Campbell in the slot. You're going to see Johnny Wilson. You're going to see John Ross running down the field, trying to take some coverage and maybe hit a shot at a big vertical throw. And then I think you see running backs and tight ends involved, as we saw last week with Dallas Goedert. So it is to me, get the ball out quickly, run the football, be conservative, protect the football, and get out of here with a victory. There is a really interesting move that the Bucs have made with their inactives. Their normal punter is Jake Camarda, and he is inactive. They signed Trenton Gill from the practice squad, and he's active today. So they clearly not happy with their punt game. So I don't know if that means anything at all with Cooper DeJean returning punts today, but it's something to keep an eye on.
Well, I'm glad you mentioned that. Well, it's interesting on both sides. One, a new punter for them, but two, we have a new returner because Britton Covey out, going to be out a while here with the shoulder injury. So we're going to see Cooper DeJean do that. The Power Player of the Game sponsored by the IBEW Local Union 98 in partnership with Nika Penn Delgers. They're proud to power progress in Philadelphia. That is an interesting little subplot in this one here, Dave. Cooper DeJean, who we haven't seen much on the field first few weeks. We know he was behind because he was injured in training camp, but we're going to see him there as the punt returner today. And just based, Dave, on what I saw him do at Iowa, he's got some juice as a returner if he can get the ball in his hands in space.
Yeah, no doubt. Probably not as, quick as Britton Covey, but that we saw a little bit of it last week where he fell and got up and still gained a few yards on the return. Just catch the football. I mean, when I think of Britton as a rookie, we all kind of got on him because he called a lot of fair catches, and that's kind of what you do. 2022 offense was dynamic. Don't turn the football over. I wonder how aggressive the Eagles will be with Cooper DeJean returning punts in this game today against a new punter who he hasn't really studied, Trenton Gill. So it's just another little subplot here, and the context is win the turnover battle. The -4 that the Eagles have is not sustainable for the long haul here. There was a special teams gaffe last week with the block punt that the defense bailed the Eagles out on. Do not make mistakes on special teams. The Eagles have been very conservative with their kickoffs deep into the end zone, with their kickoff returns. They certainly believe in Britton Covey, and unfortunately he's out for a while here. So today with Cooper DeJean, and I know fans are really excited to see him, what does he bring to the game here as a punt return man?
Hugh, Dave mentioned a word there I think is people are going to have on their mind if it is a low-scoring game. Hugh, do you anticipate Nick Sirianni continuing to be aggressive with those fourth down decisions when field goals are available? Or do you think today's a day, Hugh, that he's more conservative in maybe a lower-scoring game? Does he just take the field goal? Because in the last few weeks, he's gone the other way, and it's worked at times, but obviously it hasn't at other times.
Yeah, I don't think this has anything to do with, some of the scrutiny that Coach Sirianni has taken over the last couple of weeks for some of his ability or his inability to or his desire to kick the football, I should say, in certain situations. But I think going into this game and given the receiver core and given the fact that you're kind of banged up a little bit, I think you have to play a little bit conservative. And I think if you get an opportunity to kick some field goals and take the 3 points, I think that's what Coach Sirianni is going to do today.
Dave, all eyes will be on Nick, especially early in the game. If they have a field goal lined up, certainly a makeable one, because we know how aggressive he's been. And Dave, in 2022, it worked out. And so far this year, it's come under more fire. I think part of it's because the games are close, and when the games are close, every decision the coach makes is magnified. What's your anticipation on how Sirianni coaches those moments today?
I mean, knowing him, Joe, I think he's going to still show confidence in his players and kind of get a feel for how the Eagles are
Dave, he better take
doing
the
at the line of scrimmage.
Dave.
I know.
Dave,
Hugh, I get it, Hugh.
And if he don't, you need to slap him across the lips and say, Coach, take the 3 points.
That is above my pay grade, Hugh. That's a bad Assiter job, Hugh.
That is exactly what it is.
So I would love to give you the answer that, hey, he's gonna be really very aware of the scoreboard, the situation, but that would go against everything that Nick's philosophy is. Whatever you believe in, double down in that belief, and you will be proven right in the long haul.
Mm-hmm.
But I think you also have to judge that things have not worked as well of late. So, look, if it's 4th and 3 at the 9-yard line, I think you kick the field goal. If it's 4th and 1 at the 9-yard line with a Tampa Bay defensive line that's really not at its height, I think you might just see the brotherly shove.
Well, I'll take that.
I don't have a problem with
that.
The
Usually
shove.
Works. It's the fake around the end.
Yeah, there you go.
Well, I actually liked the variation as they used last year.
And it did. You're right. It worked
success.
against Washington. It was Washington last year when Swift ran it in.
I think there's plays you can have that set up off of the brotherly shove. It's just last week they weren't lined up right and they messed up the play. And so, but the point is, do you take points off the scoreboard in what you think is going to be a very tight football game? That's what I can't answer. If history serves as any barometer, then Nick's going to keep going for it.
Yeah, he probably will, and it could change the game, hopefully positively for the Philadelphia Eagles. Dave, we appreciate it. On the other side, we'll talk to Femi Abubafe from the BetQL Network, the betting angles on this game and his favorite picks around the NFL Week 4. The Eagles Radio Network presented by PNC Bank, brilliantly boring since 1865 on 94 WIP.
The Piazza Auto Group is proud to have served as the halftime sponsor of the Eagles radio network for over 20 years. As we hope for another championship, it's the perfect time to drive home in the new or certified pre-owned vehicle you've been wanting. The Piazza Auto Group features 18 brands, including Honda, Acura, Mazda, Hyundai, Genesis, Mini, Nissan, Subaru, and Volkswagen. To find the location nearest you or to shop their extensive inventory, visit PiazzaAutoGroup.com.
Someone once said it's always better to do one thing at once. I say if you can do two things at once, why wouldn't you? You're probably doing that right now anyway. Like a WM Henderson heating, cooling, plumbing, and electric. If you buy one fall furnace tune-up, we'll give you an AC tune-up in spring for free. You do one and you don't even have to think about the other. See, that's two things taken care of. So the moral is, doing two things at once isn't just easier, it saves you money. Book now at WMHenderson.com.
Hey, it's Ike Reese, and there's nothing like a championship team that gets even better. I'm talking about Glad Hair. The area's foremost authority on hair restoration is now a part of Morgenstern Medical. So you get the same team of experts, the same unmatched Glad system, and the same location, all under the direction of renowned plastic surgeon, Dr. Ken Morgenstern. If your hair is thinning or you want to restore what you've lost, call the Glad Hair team today at 610-980-4000. Or visit GladHairMCTR.com.
Guess what, people? Wendy's has new saucy nugs. You heard me. Wendy's nugs now come in 7 saucy flavors. Buffalo, honey barbecue, garlic parm, spicy ghost pepper. You can literally hear your taste buds after every bite. I'm serious. Listen to mine. Okay, that's just me playing with sound effects. For a whole new way to nug, gotta be Wendy's. Open till midnight or later.
At participating U.S. Wendy's, hours may vary by location.
Look at you. Your life is under control. Errands done. Groceries, got them. Be proud of yourself. It's time to give yourself a reward. You know you've been waiting all day for your favorite tasty cake treat, but which one? There's so many great choices. Is it the delicious crimpet or the mouth-watering candy cake? Maybe it's the tasty baked pie. No matter what you choose or where you are, it's always time for a tasty cake. So choose what feels right and enjoy. You've earned it, and you know you deserve it. Tasty cake, accept no substitutes.
Hey, Joe DeCamera here to tell you why Family and Company Jewelers on Route 70 in Marlton, New Jersey is South Jersey's diamond destination and your trusted jeweler for quality, service, and price. You can choose from the largest selection of engagement rings in the area, or you can have their master jewelers create a custom one-of-a-kind ring just for your special day. Visit their showroom or shop online at familyjewelers.com. That's familyjewelers.com. Family and Company Jewelers, South Jersey's diamond destination.
Jack Daniels and Coca-Cola tailgating and watching the birds. It doesn't get any better. So stop by your local PA Fine Wine and Good Spirits store and save $1 on cases of Jack and Coke and Jack and Coca-Cola Zero Sugar, along with Jack Honey and Lemonade, Jack and Ginger Ale, and Jack and Tennessee Apple Fizz. All ready to drink in a can. Jack and Coke, poured for the tailgate. Please drink responsibly. Whiskey Specialty, 7% ABV. Jack Daniels Distillery, Lynchburg, Tennessee. Jack Daniels Little Number 7, a registered trademarks of Jack Daniels Properties, Inc. Coca-Cola is a trademark of the Coca-Cola Company.
Who's the man in a white plumbing van?
Roto-Rooter Man.
Who's the dude who clears your drain of food?
Roto-Rooter Man.
Who's the guy to keep your basement dry?
He's the Roto-Rooter Man.
Who's your friend for a pipe on the man?
Roto-Rooter Man.
If plumbing, drain, or water cleanup are the plan, better call your Roto-Rooter man. Roto-Rooter, we put water where it should be.
Call Roto-Rooter, that's a name, and away go troubles down the drain. Roto-Rooter.
Looking to spruce up your kitchen with new appliances? D&K Appliances, family owned and operated, offers brands such as Bosch, Cafe, GE, Thermador, KitchenAid, Sub-Zero, Monogram, and even outdoor kitchen appliances. They're Stafford local experts guiding you through the consultation process, so you will love your kitchen every day. D&K Appliances offers 100% in-house service, from delivery and installation to service, unlike competitors. Visit D&K Appliances in Newtown Square and Flourtown, or dkappliances.com. D&K Appliances, the dependable difference.
This is the Verizon Pregame Show on Eagles Radio.
Welcome back to the Verizon Pregame Show. The Philadelphia Eagles powered by Verizon. Joining us right now from the BetQL Network, Femi Abebefe, as we look forward to Week 4, including Eagles-Bucks. Femi, how you doing today?
Doing great. Once again, the sun's shining out here in Las Vegas. The board lighting up. We're about an hour away from kickoff, so a good time here as that anxiety starts to ramp up with these games about to get underway.
Yeah, and we have it here in Philadelphia. Femi, how do you handicap this game? And it's felt challenging from our perspective all week just because of all the injuries on both sides. No Antoine Winfield, but for the Eagles, no A.J. Brown, no Devontae Smith, no Lane Johnson here.
Yeah, it's a bunch of injuries in this game, and I'm hoping not to make any enemies since this is only the second week that I've done this with you guys, but I do like the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in the game. I think this is a tough spot for Philadelphia, given the litany of injuries that they do have. It's like you're talking about Lane Johnson's out, all the splits with Lane Johnson. When they have him on the field, they win a lot of games. When they don't have him on the field, they're a below 500 team since they drafted him in 2013. And then, of course, the two top wide receivers, another week without A.J. Brown, who's Jalen Hurts' favorite target. And now it's Devontae Smith, who's out after that nasty hit that he took in the Saints game last Sunday afternoon. So I think there's so many injuries at play for Philadelphia offensively. And the key thing for Tampa, the big active for them, is the big guy in the middle, Vita Vea, on that defensive line. Like, that should help the Bucs at least slow down the Eagles' rushing attack with Saquon Barkley, because we saw Barkley have a lot of success, of course, last Sunday against the Saints at 147 yards, a couple touchdowns, but Vita Vea is a difference maker in the front seven. So I lean towards the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I bet the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. You can still get 1.5 out there. Tough game for your Philadelphia Eagles, but I think the Bucs go ahead and clip them this afternoon.
Femi, as people put together their parlays for the game today, and I'm sure a lot of people are going to be on the Eagles and throw some props in there as well. It feels simple. Saquon, right? Saquon over, Saquon touchdown. But I feel like the Bucs probably try to load the boxes. Is this a game where you maybe look towards Jalen Hurts' rushing yards? Any props on this game you think are interesting for today?
Where I would actually go is Dallas Goedert. Like, that seems simple, honestly, after the game that he had last Sunday when he had a career day and had the big play to set up the go-ahead touchdown. But whenever we've seen A.J. Brown or Devontae Smith, in this case, both guys are out, Hurts goes right back to the guy that's probably the most reliable pass catcher on the field, and that's Dallas Goedert. BetMGM has his receiving prop at 53.5. Got to pay a little bit to go over that number, minus 120, but Goddard would be the direction that I go with the Eagles if I'm looking to play a prop in this game, just because he's been all reliable when those guys have been absent in the lineup.
Femi, week 4 around the NFL. Give me a couple plays. Give us a couple plays you like here, as it's been an interesting year so far. The underdogs have ruled the way in gambling week 1 through 3.
Yeah, it's been a fun start to the NFL season. The underdog, the biggest dog on the week, has won outright in each of the last 3 weeks. You never see that happen in the NFL. But I'll give you guys an ugly dog and then one that might be a little bit intriguing. How about your guys' old friend Doug Peterson, whose job is probably on life support with the Jacksonville Jaguars? I think that +6 with the Jaguars is an interesting look. Just division game, backs against the wall. This is probably the final game for Doug Peterson if they don't win the game. So if they have any sort of professional pride, I think Jacksonville can stay within that number and cover the number. And also, I like the Los Angeles Rams getting a field goal against the Chicago Bears. The Bears defense is really terrific, but in these games when they're coin flip games, and it can go either way, I look at the head coach and quarterback combination, and on one side I'm getting Sean McVay and Matthew Stafford, a Super Bowl winning combination, and the other side it's Matt Eberflus and Caleb Williams. No disrespect to those guys, but they're not on the level of McVay and Stafford, so give me the Rams. And then I also like, and this one's going to be tough to play, but I think this valuable, the Los Angeles Chargers getting a touchdown against the Kansas City Chiefs. Chargers have a bunch of injuries, missing both of their tackles, Rashawn Slater and Joe Alt, but Justin Herbert and Jim Harbaugh should never be getting more than a touchdown on their home field. So give me the Los Angeles Chargers to do whatever it takes to stay competitive. Don't think they'll win the game, but I think it'll be much closer than people think.
That'll be a fun one. Femi, we appreciate you hopping on. We'll catch up again soon, and good luck with all the picks today, Femi.
Awesome stuff. Good luck with the bets, everyone. Be well.
There he goes. Femi Abebefe from the BetQL Network. Hugh, he's on the Goddard angle. I mean, if Goddard can have another big game, then we're going to start saying, man, like he really could have done more last year, and they just didn't give him the football because we haven't seen a game that Goddard had in a long time.
Yeah, and I think that would probably be the key moving forward as well. Because when you get all your complement of weapons back, I think it makes you more unpredictable, not knowing who's going to be the focal point going into each and every football game that you're going into. We always talk about the greatest show on turf and what the Rams were. They had a lot of weapons all over the place, man. What was it, Pro? I think Pro was the tight end.
Akeem and Pro, they had a lot.
They had a lot of weapons, man, and I think it's tough. It's tough to go in the game like that.
Yeah, it'd be nice if the Eagles can have all that when all these guys come back and they're healthy. We'll get to Eliot's 3 keys to the game next. The Eagles Radio Network presented by PNC Bank. Brilliantly boring since 1865 on 94 WIP.
After a punishing clash, Dallas Goedert and Saquon Barkley will the Eagles to a win.
Goddard came out of nowhere and made the catch.
Now a motivated Eagles team looks to build and swoop in for victory.
Gotta come and execute, play clean football. Gotta come and execute and play clean football.
Today, as they take flight against the Buccaneers. Today's game is sponsored in part by PNC Bank, PDQ Restaurant Point of Sale Systems, Verizon, NovaCare Rehabilitation, your Delaware Valley Honda dealers, Deborah Heart and Lung Center, Acme, Piazza Auto Group, and IBEW Local Union 98. You're listening to the Verizon Pregame Show on the Eagles Radio Network, presented by PNC Bank. Brilliantly boring since 1865.
Welcome to the Eagles Pregame Show, presented and powered by Verizon. Hugh Douglas, Joe Giglio, Eliot, Shorr-Parks with you as we get set for the Eagles and the Bucs. 1:05 kickoff down in Tampa Bay. 2-1 Eagles, 2-1 Buccaneers as the Eagles look forward to their bye week next week and hopefully getting there at 3-1 after a win last week on the road against the New Orleans Saints. Let's look at the keys to the game. Eliot's keys to the game, brought to you by United Tire. For the best tire prices anywhere, don't drive alone. Drive United. Eliot, what are you looking at today?
Yeah, until it stops becoming a problem, it's going to keep being number one on my list. I'm going turnovers number one. The Eagles have only won the turnover battle 4 times since the start of last year. They're 4-0 in those games. Outside of that, they've lost it. I believe it's up to 15 times. And they've somehow gone 8-6, or I think it's 8-7 in those games. But regardless, Tampa Bay is not a team that's good at taking the ball away. They haven't done it a ton this year. But Jalen is a quarterback that puts the ball in harm's way. So they take care of the ball today, they have a good chance to win. I mean, history shows 4-0 when they win the turnover battle. So number one, take care of the ball.
Hey, Hugh, it's the biggest story around Jalen Hurts until it stops. You know, we could all point to little things he's doing better here and there, maybe accuracy, maybe, decision-making in terms of like the play that Goddard last week. He kind of checked them because he knew the coverage, and that was progression we saw on his part. But it's just hard to get past 2 turnovers a game. I mean, Eliot gave the numbers there. There's no way they can keep winning at a high clip if they're losing the turnover battle every week. It's obvious they've gotten by, but it has to stop today.
Yeah, it does, because it's one of those things. Normally in a game, when you have 2 turnovers like the ones that Jalen had, you don't recover from those. That's why everybody always says when you see the turnovers and the amount that he has thus far in this young season, they say that's not sustainable. So it would be nice today if we go into this game, we get a couple touchdowns with no turnovers.
The other thing, before we get to Eliot's second key, it would be good if Eagles can help win the turnover battle by taking it away on the other side. They've had some clutch moments this year, Blankenship in week 1, Blankenship last week. But, Eliot, I would like the outside corners to get one here. I mean, I feel like if they pressure Baker, he'll throw it up. Quinyon Mitchell's been good so far.
He's had some opportunities, though, Joe, and he just batted the ball away.
I know. Today feels like a day Quinyon could get one, and Slay hasn't got one either. I mean, Eliot, that would go a long way to rectifying the turnover differential if they get 2 on their own side.
Yeah, and Baker is a quarterback that will hold on to the ball, scramble outside, and be risky with it. He's not smart with the football. So, absolutely, look, Quinyon, as you mentioned, has jumped a few routes, this season, hasn't come away with the football. Reed Blankenship has 2 interceptions. So, the key to winning the turnover battle, we focus so much on the Jalen side of it. The other key to winning the turnover battle is creating turnovers, and this Buccaneers offense is one that's willing to give it away if you can take advantage of those opportunities.
All right, Eliot, key number 2. What do you have?
I'm going to go Bryce Huff versus Buccaneers starting right tackle Justin Skule. The Bucs are without their starting right tackle Luke Goedeke. He is out today, which means backup Justin Skule, who has started 1 game in 3 years, who led up 6 pressures in 30 snaps last week, and when he came in, is who Bryce Huff will be going up against. Bryce, it is time to have your breakout game. This is not a good tackle you're going against. Last week, the Saints matched up Bryce Huff against tight ends, and he wasn't able to get anything done. So I'm not saying he'll be able to win it, but if there's ever a day where Bryce Huff could come out and have his entrance to the 2024 season, this is it.
Hugh, I know you were very passionate as the week went on about Bryce Huff, about his usage, about Vic Fangio. What do you expect? I mean, Eliot just laid it out there. They have a backup tackle playing. And this is an offensive line in Tampa that gave up 7 sacks last week to the Broncos, and the week before, Aiden Hutchinson. And I know he's in a different class, but he destroyed the Bucs offensive line all by himself. Is today a day for Bryce Huff, and should Vic Fangio give him an opportunity today?
I think if the opportunity is there and presents itself, that Bryce Huff should be able to eat today. You're talking about a team that has not done a great job of protecting their quarterback. I know going into this game is similar to the one that we played the Atlanta Falcons. They had kind of the same issue. And going into this game, I think that they're going to go above and beyond and try to protect the tackle. But at the same time, Bryce, you got to start eating, man. You got to feast. I believe in this young man. I think that he can play. I've seen the film. But now you have to pay. You have to go out there. You got to do your thing, man. You got to do your thing.
I heard Hugh earlier in the week talk about the usage of Bryce Huff, and I went and looked it up. If you look at how he was used last year with the Jets, he moved around way more than he has here in Philadelphia. In Philly, he's been on the left side almost every single snap. Last year, he was on the right side. He was on the left side, and he dropped into coverage less. He played the run less. So he has been used differently here in Philly than he was with the Jets.
See? Eliot, thank you, Eliot.
I never said you were wrong on
this.
this.
I'm just saying, thank you for
numbers guy backing up
the
football.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
The perfect marriage of analytics and football here. That's what this pregame shows. Eliot, before we get to key three, as you guys were discussing that, it did make me think, if this doesn't start moving in the right direction, let's say it's another sackless game for Bryce Huff. Eliot, do you believe pass rusher, and I know Hassan Reddick's name came up late this week and it will come up again, do you think that's going to be an area where we talk about leading to the trade deadline in the NFL this year?
Yeah, absolutely. And it's a position Howie has shown he's willing to invest resources in at the deadline. He's traded now. These didn't work out, but he traded for Jannard Avery. He traded for Robert Quinn. And I think it's always been a position he'll invest in. But I'll throw this back at you. If they do trade for an edge and it's somebody of substance, someone that's going to come in and play, who's out? Like, Brandon Graham's not going to be out. Nolan Smith is a former first-round pick. Bryce Huff, you just gave $34 million to. Josh Sweat has probably been their best edge rusher besides Brandon, and maybe their best edge rusher when it comes to getting after the quarterback. I'm not sure where the snaps are coming from if you trade for somebody.
Well, I think that's a fair point. But if you're not getting production, I can't worry about that. I'll figure. I mean,
Easier said than done.
Yeah, but I mean, can they really play Brandon Graham this much the whole season and him hold up?
I don't think so.
That concerns me.
I don't think so, because we're talking about Brandon Graham. We're worried about Saquon Barkley. The guy that we need to worry about is a 36-year-old guy. That's what we need to worry
You're
about.
Probably right about that. All right, Eliot, key number 3.
Avonte Maddox versus Chris Godwin and Mike Evans. If you look at how the Buccaneers use their receivers, they move them both inside to the slot. Chris Godwin predominantly plays out of there. That's a tough matchup for Avonte Maddox within itself. I mean, Chris Godwin's he's certainly their most targeted receiver. Mike Evans probably a better receiver, I would say, than Chris Godwin. But Maddox has been up and down this season, a rough start to the year. He has improved as it's gone on. That's a tough matchup. But then Mike Evans inside against Maddox, also a tough matchup. So I'll be curious to see if they move Quinyon inside. He's taken a lot of reps there in practice, and I'll be, to see how they move guys around. But Maddox versus Mike Evans and Chris Godwin is a really critical matchup in this game.
That's a fun one, Hugh, the idea of the corner situation here with Maddox, because Quinyon has played his way to a starting role on the outside. But Hugh, I keep waiting for Isaiah Rodgers to get more run now that he's healthy, and there's a way they could do that. I mean, they could put Quinyon back inside where he was in training camp and get Rodgers on the outside. Feels like they've been reluctant to do that, and we've seen more of just keeping Quinyon on the outside.
Yeah, and I think that's because that's where Coach Fangio is comfortable with him being right now, Joe. But as you said, this secondary needs to start taking the ball away. Quinyon was in a position a couple times, I think it was in the Atlanta game as well, where he could have gotten picks. It looked like he just, he's not comfortable at that spot yet, so he was just trying to bat the ball down. But it would be nice to see one of those young guys in the secondary catch one and take it to the house.
Of course it would. And Eliot, today's a day. I mean, they did it last week, but today really feels like a day where they got to get their money's worth out of Vic Fangio. Like, the offense is down, right? They're down 3-star players. Today's another day. This is why you bring Vic Fangio here, to try to limit Tampa to, 17 points and try to steal a win.
Yeah, absolutely. But I would also say the defense has done their part this year. The defense kept them in the game against the Packers. The defense was really the only reason they had a chance to win that game against Atlanta. And I know they had that bad final drive, obviously. And the defense is what won them the game against the Saints. So while I agree with you, today is a day where with A.J. Lane and Devontae out, the defense has to carry them. The defense has been carrying them. So, if the defense comes in here today and lays an egg, how about the offense finally picking up the defense for once?
Well, that'd be great.
To say.
It would be.
That way, when you talk about all the resources that have been allocated to the offensive side of the ball, that the defense is actually the ones that have been carrying today. They do
have a lot of first-round picks on defense.
Ironic.
They're young first-round picks, though. And Vic Fangio, Eliot's not wrong. I mean, the defense has even though statistically they're not great, they've kept them in games, Hugh. I mean, they had the 2 stops early in the Green Bay game. Eliot, I think they're 4th in the NFL in red zone defense. I mean, that's really where they've held their own.
If you think about it this way, if they had Matt Patricia as their coordinator, there's a good shot they're 0-3. If they have Brian Johnson as their offensive coordinator, they probably have the same record. So, like, the difference in coordinators has been far greater, in my opinion, on the defensive side than on the offensive side.
Yeah, they found their way back to confidence, and in some ways better than that on defense. And look, this is a litmus test to see if last week was just a blip and they had a good day, or are they good, right? Because the first 2 games, it was like, well, statistically they're not good, even though they had some good moments. This is a week. If they're good today, I think it's pretty clear this defense is finding itself as we move forward throughout this season. All right, coming up on the other side, we'll be joined by Merrill Reese. We'll get his keys to the game as we look forward to the Eagles and the Buccaneers. 2-1 versus 2-1. This is the Eagles Radio Network, presented by PNC Bank. Brilliantly boring since 1865 on 94 WIP.
Hi, this is Joe Mederchik, PNC Bank Regional President. Sticking to the fundamentals, not wavering from the game plan, is a great philosophy for football and banking. And for nearly 160 years, our dedicated local PNC teams are in formation to help fans receive sound and reliable personalized financial advice to get them across the goal line. Because, as we see it, a win for them is a win for the greater Philadelphia community. PNC Bank, brilliantly boring since 1865. PNC Bank, National Association, member FDIC.
Hey, Eagles fans, this is Merrill Reese. Phones weren't made to be broken, but life happens. So when you break your phone, Verizon in Philly's got you. Trade in any phone from one of their top brands in any condition, guaranteed, and get a great deal on one of their best 5G phones with unlimited ultimate. Switch now and save. Available at a Philly area Verizon store.
Kick off game day the right way this season with Hers, the snack that's rooted in Philly. They've been a hometown favorite for nearly 8 decades and counting. So when you say their first team all flavor, you can taste it. Hers runs a deep roster of unbelievable flavors like zesty, sour cream and onion, sweet and smoky honey barbecue, and slightly spicy jalapeno kettle chips. So next Birds game, you can't help but go for 2. Bags, that is. Hers, rooted in flavor.
Know what's below, because even minor excavation projects like installing a mailbox, building a patio, or putting up a fence can do major damage. Contact 811 before you dig, or visit pa1call.org to submit a locate request to have underground utilities marked.
Dear Spotlight, Toyota has more all-wheel drive and four-wheel drive vehicles than any other brand. Find your perfect ride, and you'll shine bright day or night. Toyota, let's go places.
Hi, it's Merrill. Hand and Stone Massage and Facial Spa is here to help you distress after the game. Visit them to restore, relax, or refresh with a much-needed massage or facial for an introductory price starting at just $79.95. They offer an abundance of facial and massage services. Visit any one of their 60 spas in Delaware, South Jersey, and Philadelphia, including the Lehigh Valley, or go to handandstone.com. Restrictions apply. See spa for details.
I'm Mark Lynch, business manager of IBEW Local Union 98. We are proud to connect with the best NECA Pendel Jersey chapter. Together, NECA and Local 98 do the work that powers our great city. Local 98's 5,500 highly trained members approach every job with integrity and excellence. Our clients can count on superior craftsmanship completed utilizing the latest methods, and we're always ensuring safety on the job. If you want the best for your next project, use the top-notch professionals of IBEW Local Union 98.
Pennsylvanians are creating their own soundtrack. Thanks to PA Lottery Scratch-Offs, excitement's back. Pennies, nickels, dimes, or quarters, no matter your choice, scratching's always in order. With big top prizes and second chance drawings, thrills await. They're out there calling. If it's excitement you seek and you're looking for action, play the PA Lottery. And keep on scratching. Must be 18 or older. Please play responsibly. Benefits older Pennsylvanians every day.
True Philly fans know that thirsty birds fly faster with Bird Gang Spirits. Bird Gang's starting lineup of bourbon, vodka, and tequilas are made for true Philly fans. The pre-gamers, the tailgaters, dieharders, and lifelongers. This year's limited edition release of Bird Gang commemorates the 75th anniversary of the Eagles' 1949 World Championship. Pick up a bottle at your liquor store today or order directly at BOTLD.com. Bird Gang Spirits. Go Birds! 2024 Bird Gang Spirit. Direct delivery available only to PA residents. Please drink responsibly.
Eagles Bucks. We'll talk about this tomorrow on the WIP Afternoon Show with Ike, Spike, and Fritz, 2 to 6.
You're listening to the Verizon Pregame Show on the Eagles Radio Network.
Welcome back to the Verizon Pregame Show. The Philadelphia Eagles powered by Verizon. Hopefully powered to a win today over the Buccaneers. Eagles slight favorites, but we know the injuries are there. No Lane, no AJ, no Devontae. We'll find out how the Eagles look starting at 1 o'clock. And on the call, when we hear that, is, of course, our guy, Merrill Reese. Merrill, how are you today?
Merrill.
I am well, guys. It is an absolutely magnificent day. You couldn't tell that a hurricane ever came through here. It's just beautiful, perfect weather.
What about the heat, Merrill? That's certainly going to play in here. How warm is it? Can you feel it where you are?
I really can. I mean, it's warm. It's warm, but we went through training camp and we went through those kind of days. It'll probably be the very high 80s, close to 90, but there doesn't seem to be a lot of humidity.
All right, Merrill, let's get to your keys to the game today. What are you looking at in terms of the Eagles and trying to get a win down there in Tampa?
This is very important. This was the formula for the Broncos beating this Bucs team last week. Grab an early lead, stop the run, and put Baker Mayfield in a must-throw situation, and then turn Jalen Carter loose. Number 2, feed Saquon Barkley. Give him enough carries to get into a rhythm, and then watch Saquon run. And number 3, enough with the turnovers. The Eagles, after 3 games, are -4. That simply won't do. Practice ball security.
Well, that last one is clear. I mean, it just can't last. It can't last the NFL to turn the ball over like that. They've won. They're 2-1, but that needs to change. And, Merrill, your point on the pass rush, the Buccaneers allowed 7 sacks last week to the Denver Broncos. One of their tackles is out today. Today feels like a day, Merrill, where they can get after Baker Mayfield. And he strikes me as the kind of quarterback. He's good, but if you pressure him, he'll make a mistake or two.
Well, he is good, and the Eagles found that out last year in the playoffs. But I think the Eagles can get to him. He's not the most mobile guy in the world. He can run a little bit, but when Jalen Carter has his antenna up, I think that he's going to have a few sacks.
Well, that would be great. Merrill, we appreciate you hopping on, and we'll be listening with you and Mike and Howard on the call this afternoon. Thank you, Merrill.
Have a good one, Merrill.
Thank you, guys.
There he goes. The great Merrill Reese down in Tampa Bay. And Hugh, he mentioned Saquon Barkley there, and the Saquon aspect of this thing. He has been their most impactful offensive player the first 3 weeks.
No question.
He is the leading rusher in the NFL. And Hugh, the part that's been so amazing about Saquon is the explosiveness of the runs. Like, you go to that game last week, he does look rejuvenated. That game last week, they couldn't move the football. They couldn't get anything going. And his touchdown run, it like opened the floodgates for them.
Yeah, and that's why people get a little bit upset when they see the game and how the game plan is going and how he's not involved in the game plan at the beginning of the game. There shouldn't be a time from what we've seen in the last couple of weeks where Saquon Barkley, especially in the first half, in the first couple of drives, he should touch the rock, in my opinion. He should be established early and often in football games because he's a home run hitter. It reminded me a lot, eerily, of when I played that 1 year in Jacksonville of Fred Taylor. Fred Taylor was one hell of a running back, and I'm convinced that if he was at any other team, that he would be and Hall of Famer. And we even talked about it the other day. The way he runs a little bit is like Deuce when he caught the ball out of the backfield and when he took off, like he looks a little bit like that. So yeah, he factors in a lot for me as far as the success of this offense early into this game today.
So here's what I've been wondering about. And we discussed a little bit on Friday during our show, Hugh, and a lot of people did not want to even consider this because they want to win the football game, and I want to win the game too. But Hugh, do you think at some point, maybe not today, at some point, they will start to think about how many carries and how many touches they're giving him? He is on pace for more touches than he's ever had in a season. Mm-hmm. And if you kind of extrapolate where they are now, let's say they go into the playoffs. I mean, he's on pace for well over 400 touches. If they get to a Super Bowl, 500 touches. Do you think that this is in the back of their mind, or are we still too early in the season for them to worry about this when there's a game to win today?
I think it's in the back of their mind, but I think right now the most important thing for them to do is try to win football games. And if that means that Saquon Barkley hasn't touched the ball 25 to 30 times this game, then so be it. I think the most important thing to do, Joe, in a situation like this, to make sure that he's getting the rest and the proper maintenance that he needs during the course of the week in order to maintain this level of, production.
Does that work? Can that really?
I think so.
Sirianni talked about that. Yeah,
I think so. When you talk about an older player, like I said, I compare him a lot to Fred Taylor, the guy that I played with a lot of years ago. Fred was the type of running back, if he knew he was going to carry the ball a lot, you come in a little bit early, you make sure that, he gets the reps that he needs in practice. But sometimes those reps were mental reps, and I know that might sound crazy to a lot of people, but when you get to a certain level of status that running backs have, and like Saquon Barkley has, he doesn't need to practice all the time. I don't think so. And if I'm putting that kind of workload on him and BG for that matter, I'm giving them days off. I'm giving them scheduled days off where, they come to work, they do all the class work that they have to do, but they don't have to practice. They don't have to put the pads on. Maybe they'll take a spa day, go get a massage from the masseuse that's there, and just relax. Watch film on the team that we have to play this upcoming week, and just take the day off.
Yeah, Sirianni did say this last couple weeks that they can find ways to rest him during the week and all those things you're saying. And look, if they could keep using him like this and he could stay fresh throughout the entire season, that's the best of both worlds. It's a matter of, can they do that, and will they pull it back at some point? Now, the bye next week, Hugh, that could impact things, right? Because, at some point they're going to pull back on his touches. With the bye next week, Hugh, today could be another day where they use him a lot because they feel like we get him 2 full weeks off before we play again.
Yeah, man, heavy duty. Like we talked about this week, how this game is important and how we want to win it. If that means Saquon Barkley has touched the ball 30, 35 times this week
35.
to win this game, I'm just saying, I'm just throwing, I like to inflate those numbers a little bit. So I'm just throwing it out there. But if he touches the ball 35 times and we win the game, I'm okay with that.
Well, I think everyone will be, and they might need to. And a lot will depend on 2 things. 1, if they have a lead and they can run the football. And 2, if it's a close game and all that. And then 3, how the Bucs defense is playing. The Bucs defense loads the box and they say Saquon's not beating us. Well, then Jalen's going to have to find a different way. Hugh, which receiver today? Give me a receiver of the guys we know are going to play. You think's going to make a play today? Is it
Johnny Walker?
Johnny Wilson.
I like
you got something
Johnny
else on your mind with Johnny Walker.
No, I'm saying Johnny Walker. Johnny Walker's Johnny Wishbone. Johnny Warlock.
John Ritchie's guy. He loves Johnny Wilson.
Warlock.
Today's his day?
Yes. I think it has to be. For me, though, Joe, it's this. The running game has to be there. Dallas Goedert has to somewhat be involved in this. I can't imagine you going into a game and put one of these young receivers in a position where they have to be the one that stretches the field immediately. I just can't see that. Might be wrong with that assessment, but I just don't see it. I think that you have to establish your already established guys, get them the football, and make them overemphasize trying to stop them.
And then you go.
And then you go to the other guy.
Well, maybe it's a day for Jahan Dotson. They traded a pretty decent pick for this guy to come here and help. Today's the day they need him for, when both star receivers are out. Coming up on the other side, we'll talk to Jay Retch or WDAE down in Tampa about this Bucs team. What are they looking at, and what are they looking like as we head towards kickoff? The Eagles Radio Network, presented by PNC Bank. Brilliantly boring since 1865 on 94 WIP.
There's nothing quite like the Honda Civic Hybrid, Accord Hybrid, and CR-V Hybrid when it comes to exhilarating efficiency. With hybrid technology and thrilling capability, these vehicles deliver an electrifying performance on every drive. But what truly makes these hybrids special is the unwavering determination that inspires everything we do. Redefine your driving experience with Honda, KBB.com's best value brand of 2024.
Contact your local Honda dealer today.
Based on 2024 Consumer Choice Awards from Kelly Blue Book, visit KBB.com for more information.
Eagles fans, Merrill Reese here to talk about my friends at NovaCare Rehabilitation. Are you dealing with ongoing aches and pains? The physical therapist at NovaCare will help keep you active and doing the things you love. They have more than 200 convenient locations throughout the Delaware Valley and South Jersey. Visit NovaCare.com to schedule an appointment today. NovaCare is the official physical therapy provider to the Philadelphia Eagles. The Eagles trust NovaCare, so can you. Experience the power of physical therapy.
For some jobs around the house, it's okay to do it yourself. For others, not so much. Like your water heater. Replacing a water heater should only be done by a plumbing professional who can provide a safe installation for you and your family. For a long-lasting, reliable water heater, ask your pro about Bradford White. How you heat your water matters, and Bradford White water heaters are built to be the best for years of dependable service. To learn more and find an installation pro near you, visit bradfordwhite.com.
What's on the menu for football season? Pork, of course. Get ready for game day with Hatfield and put some pork on your fork. Elevate your kickoff cuisine and halftime feast with Hatfield's winning lineup of marinated pork tenderloins, pork loin fillets, ground pork and sausage, bacon and ham. Whether you're the tailgate king or gridiron gourmet, Hatfield helps you savor the taste of victory. Visit simplyhatfield.com for play-by-play menu inspiration. Find your flavor with Hatfield.
Jack Daniels and Coca-Cola tailgating and watching the birds. It doesn't get any better. So stop by your local PA Fine Wine and Good Spirits store and save $1 on cases of Jack and Coke and Jack and Coca-Cola Zero Sugar, along with Jack Honey and Lemonade, Jack and Ginger Ale, and Jack and Tennessee Apple Fizz. All ready to drink in a can. Jack and Coke, more for the tailgate. Please drink responsibly. Whiskey Specialty, 7% ABV. Jack Daniels Distillery, Lynchburg, Tennessee. Jack Daniels Little Number 7, a registered trademarks of Jack Daniels Properties, Inc. Coca-Cola is a trademark of the Coca-Cola Company.
Operating engineers are the men and women that move mountains. And the Engineers Labor Employer Cooperative, ELEC, puts them to work. They create opportunities for the men, women, and union signatory contractors of Local 825, repaving our roads, keeping our homes bright and warm, and even building our favorite team stadium. We understand infrastructure. That's why ELEC and Local 825 are ready to get to work.
There are lessons to be learned every day, and every day is an opportunity to find our purpose. It begins with a game plan, not just thinking about short-term wins, but long-term goals. We are all quarterbacks of our financial future, and we have to be boldly committed to the process. Because when the lights are on, that's when preparation meets opportunity. Build your tomorrow at LincolnFinancial.com.
Lincoln Financial is the marketing name for Lincoln National Corporation and affiliates, copyright 2024. Lincoln Financial is a sponsor of Jalen Hurts, who has received compensation.
Check it out, the new iPhone 16 Pro with Apple Intelligence and camera control for easy access. At Verizon, you can get it when you trade in any phone from one of their top brands.
Any?
Any.
Even if it's 4 years old?
Yeah.
Even if it's 4 years old and I drop it on the sidewalk?
Yep.
Even if it's 4 years old and I drop it on the sidewalk, then a scooter runs it over, so now it's not just old and cracked, but shattered?
With Verizon, the answer is always yes. New and existing customers can trade in any phone from one of our top brands in any condition for the new iPhone 16 Pro with Unlimited Ultimate. Trade-in terms apply. See Verizon.com for details.
This is Brandon Graham. Eagles football plays here. 94 WIP.
This is the Verizon Pregame Show on Eagles Radio.
Welcome back to the Verizon Pregame Show. The Philadelphia Eagles powered by Verizon. Hugh Douglas, Joe Gill, Eliot, Shorr-Parks, as we get set for the Eagles and the Buccaneers. 1:05 kickoff down in Tampa Bay. Eagles 2-1, Bucs 2-1. And a lot of this, Hugh, today is going to be what kind of game we get. I'm expecting a lower scoring game. I don't know if it's going to be quite as low scoring as last week, but I'm expecting a lower scoring game today.
Yeah. I have a score in my mind. I know we're going to share these later.
Yeah, but just in general, a lower scoring or higher scoring today?
Lower scoring.
Yeah.
Like I'm thinking, for both teams, 5 touchdowns.
So a 35 total on the game? Yeah, that's
something like that.
That's a lower scoring game. I think, and we've seen that, Hugh. It's interesting that the NFL has been here for the last few weeks. I'm today, and as we move forward, it's going to be was the first 3 weeks just a blip, or is this what it is? Because
it's the trend this year.
I mean, it's down. Scoring is down to a level we haven't seen it in a long time. But I'm wondering, Hugh, if finally defenses have caught up a little bit onto what offenses are doing, and it just feels like it's harder for these teams to get in the end zone than it has been the last 10 years.
You know, it's funny that you say that because a couple weeks ago, what was it, the 2 high safeties?
Yes.
Got a lot of heat.
Cover two,
got a lot
too
of
deep,
heat to stop some of the explosive plays. I think that probably has a little bit to do with it because these offenses for the last couple of years have been ridiculously scoring a lot of points. So it just feels like now with the cover 2 and the safeties playing back a little bit, that has changed things a lot. Teams are not taking those chances, getting burned deep anymore.
Well, we'll find out today how the Buccaneers and the Eagles play. We're going to be joined now by a check-in with the guest down in Tampa Bay, Jay Retcher, WDAE down in Tampa, to talk about this game and the matchup. Jay, how you doing today?
I'm great. Thank you guys for having me. Appreciate it.
Well, we're glad to have you and excited to talk to you about this game, which we find a difficult one to kind of handicap here. Both teams coming in at 2-1, but there's injuries galore. Tell us about this Bucs team so far, Jay. 2-1. Are they as good as their record says?
Yeah, it's kind of weird. I'm right on board with what you're saying there. After a 2-0 start to the season, everybody's like, yeah, maybe this team should be favored in the NFC South. A lot of people love it on the Atlanta Falcons for all they did in the offseason, but the Buccaneers come crashing down to earth, and probably one of the worst performances we've seen in the NFL season last weekend against the Denver Broncos. You're looking at a rookie quarterback in Bo Nix, right? And this Buccaneers team with some veterans all over, even though they do have injuries, and they just put out probably one of their worst performances under Todd Bowles during his tenure here. So many teams that are 2-1 in the NFL season, there's a lot more question marks than answers. The Buccaneers certainly fall into that category.
Jay, I'm curious, what's your perspective and your take on Jalen Hurts at this stage of his career? Because we debate this every single day in Philadelphia. How good is he? Is he regressing? Is he progressing? Obviously hasn't been as good since that 2022 Super Bowl season, but it feels like the Bucs are always his kryptonite. What do you think about Hurts as we head into the game today?
I think watching him from afar, I think he's a guy that's young and he's still learning. We've had a ton of respect for your offensive line there and a multitude of weapons, and we understand down here that there's still a bunch of injuries today with the wide receivers being out, but we've seen Saquon Barkley do what he can do. So I still think he has a very high reputation, at least here in the Tampa Bay area, even though the Bucs have had some success. We don't take it lightly down here that a guy like that was just a player or two away from being a Super Bowl champion a couple of years ago. So still think of or hold him in very high regard.
What do you think about, what is it about Coach Bowles' defense that makes it so special and makes them have the ability to have the success that they've had over Jalen the last couple of times we've faced each other?
I think there's a couple things. One is he's so exotic. You never know what's going to happen. He's going to have Vita Vea, 350-pounder. He'll drop into coverage sometimes, man. It's like, what the heck is going on here? You'll have guys that you think are pass rushers dropping out. He'll have secondary guys that look like they're nowhere near the line of scrimmage. All of a sudden, they're in the quarterback's face. And just getting to know some of these players over the years, they have such a trust in Coach Todd Bowles because he lets them do their thing. He doesn't micromanage. He's not, hawking over them. What are you doing here? He lets them be them. And I think that's why you see some of these guys raised to the levels like you see for a guy like Antoine Winfield Jr. last year, who was one of the best defensive players in all of football. So you never know what you're going to get from a Todd Bowles defense. And that's what's really difficult if you're an offense.
Jay Retcher, WDAE down in Tampa, joining us here as we look at the matchup. Jay, what's going on, in your opinion and your guess, with the running back situation in Tampa? It started off as Rachaad White's job. It seems like Bucky Irving, the rookie out of Oregon, is coming on. I know they both had some physical issues this week. What's your expectation today? Because Irving's numbers stand out to me that he might get more playing time here.
Yeah, much better for Bucky in a smaller sample size. We thought going into the season, guys, it was one of three things. It was the fact that the offensive line, especially interior offensive line, wasn't all that great. Well, they addressed that in free agency with Bredesen at the left guard spot, and also with their first-round draft pick with Graham Barton. We also thought it was the play calling with Dave Canales being out. Now you have Liam Cohen. And then kind of the third part, looking at it, all right, well, Rachaad White, does he need to take that next step forward? And we thought things would be better. We just haven't seen that. And for a guy like Bucky Irving, he's one of those guys that he doesn't need much. He's no dancing around the line of scrimmage. He just hits the hole and gets lost. And he's not a big guy either. So I think he disappears a little bit behind that offensive line. But we're starting to hear that too, guys. That isn't something that's just lost here, outside of the Tampa Bay area. Probably going to see more of a fair and even split, I think, today than we thought initially when the season started.
Jay, your prediction today, it's about a 1.5 point spread. The Eagles still favored despite all their big injuries. What's your take on how you think this thing plays out today?
Yeah, I think it's going to be tough. Unfortunately, I think it's going to be an ugly game. Couple of turnovers on both sides. I wouldn't be surprised if Philadelphia won this game like 24-23. And then the Buccaneers have a crazy matchup Thursday night against the team you guys have seen already, the Atlanta Falcons. But he just seems like with all the injuries, especially to Luke Gedeke on that right side of the offensive line, that is an absolute killer. I'll go Philly 24-23, and I'm not just saying that because I'm on with you guys.
Jay, good stuff, man. We appreciate hopping on. Enjoy the game down there. Thank you, Jay.
You guys too. Take care.
It's funny, Hugh. Both like they're nervous down here. We're nervous up here. They have injuries. He's saying they can't overcome. We're like, oh no, we don't have Lane Johnson and AJ Brown. It feels like this game is a matter of like who's going to make the last play of the game in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, it's a toss up. that's why it's kind of hard to predict. But if you're thinking about it in that sense, it's just a lot of injuries on both sides, both sides of the ball. And quarterback play for them started off really great, but now they're questioning whether or not Baker Mayfield is the guy.
Well, remember, they lost. He lost his offensive coordinator last year, Dave Canales, who went to take the Carolina job. So that's a transition. When you're transitioning coordinators with a quarterback, it's like, do you really know what you have for a few weeks? We're doing it here with Jalen. They're doing it down there with a new play caller in Liam Cohen. All right, on the other side, it is time for our predictions. How do we see this one playing out? Eagles and the Buccaneers. We'll have that next. This is the Eagles Radio Network presented by PNC Bank. Brilliantly boring since 1865 on 94 WIP.
Hey, Eagles fans, this is Merrill Reese. Phones weren't made to be broken, but life happens. So when you break your phone, Verizon in Philly's got you. Trade in any phone from one of their top brands in any condition, guaranteed, and get a great deal on one of their best 5G phones with unlimited ultimate. Switch now and save. Available at a Philly area Verizon store.
It's happening again. Those missed tackles are starting to stack up. Your friends pleading with players who can't hear them, sweating it out week after week. But not you. Why? Because whether they score or not, there's always another way to win on the BetParx Casino app. New casino users score up to $1,000 bonus back in their first 24 hours. Gambling problem? Call 800-GAMBLER. Must be 21 plus. Located in Pennsylvania, New Jersey, Michigan. New users only. Terms and conditions apply. See website for details. Casino bonus must be wagered.
The Nissan Rogue with available Google built-in helps you make the most of your drive. Take care of the small stuff, like,
hey Google, cool down my car.
And
hey Google, turn on the dog feeder.
Or change up your adventure.
Hey Google, navigate me to the nearest music venue.
Handle your drive like a pro.
Experience the ultimate connection in the new 2024 Nissan Rogue. Now get a low $299 per month lease for 36 months on Rogue. Visit your local Nissan store and nissanusa.com today. Not equipped on all vehicles. Requires compatible device. Sequences shortened and simulated. Activation of Nissan Connect services package required. Only use features when safe and legal to do so. Data rates may apply. Subject to third-party service availability. Google, Google Play, and Google Maps are trademarks of Google LLC. Well-qualified lessees. 2024 Rogue S all-wheel drive. $4,739 initial payment excludes tax, title, license, and $695 acquisition fee. Disposition fee due at lease end. Take from new dealer stock. Call 1-888-858-8319 for offer details. Ends 9/30/24.
Modern Group is your trusted authorized Hyundai construction dealer in the Philadelphia metropolitan area, helping build a winning team. With equipment ranging from all types of sizes, let Modern be your Hyundai construction equipment provider. Modern Group also services and sells parts for all construction equipment. Modern Group is hiring technicians, signing bonuses, great pay, benefits, and employee-owned. Join a winning team. Visit moderngroup.com for your construction equipment needs.
Gerhardt's Appliances has what you need to be tailgate ready this season for the birds. Whether it's the in-home appliances needed to prepare your famous Kelly green pepper casserole before pregame, or the barbecue grills you'll need to fire up the last of your sausage links in the parking lot before kickoff, Gerhardt's has you covered with the best game day deals on appliances. Gerhardt's Appliances, helping Philly sports fans get the season cooking since 1945. Visit Gerhardt'sAppliance.com.
This football season, get in the game at Acme. Buy participating products and receive touchdown tokens to redeem for entries into the Swoop In and Win sweepstakes. You could win 2025 Eagles season tickets or autographed Eagles merch and more. Acme, the official supermarket of the Philadelphia Eagles.
We are all quarterbacks of our financial future, and we have to be boldly committed to the process. It begins with a game plan, preparing yourself for success on and off the field. Because when the lights are on, that's when preparation meets opportunity. And the best part about winning is winning as one. Build your tomorrow with Lincoln Financial.
Lincoln Financial is the marketing name for Lincoln National Corporation and affiliates, copyright 2024. Lincoln Financial is a sponsor of Jalen Hurts, who has received compensation.
This week at Acme, don't miss the football item of the week. Utz potato chips or pretzels for $1.99 each when you buy 3. Stop in and discover why football is better at Acme, your tailgating headquarters.
You're listening to the Verizon Pregame Show on the Eagles Radio Network.
welcome back to the Verizon pregame show. The Philadelphia Eagles powered by Verizon. Eagles Buccaneers coming up at 1:05. Of course, the call here on WIP with Merrill, Mike, and Harris. It's also a Tom Brady game on Fox. First Tom Brady game we get. Yeah, he's been kind of boring so far.
No, he's adjusting. He's transitioning.
Yeah, he's adjusting.
He's a transition.
Greg Olsen. I like him way better.
Yeah, he's
Eliot,
definitely better.
Let's look forward to this one here. I asked Hugh before the last segment what kind of game he was thinking about. He was thinking it's going to be a lower scoring game. Eliot, take us through what you think about how this might play out, and then give us your prediction here.
Yeah, the Eagles are a hard team to get a read on because they're extremely inconsistent. When you have a roster like this, but you turn it over, you have bad penalties, the defense is up and down, the offense struggles, it's hard to know what team you're going to get. Could they win this game today? Absolutely. I feel way more confident in their chances of winning this game than I did of them beating the Saints, but they beat the Saints. I thought they'd lose to the Packers in week 1. They beat the Packers. So it is a tough team to get a read on, but I think when making a prediction, you have to just look at the logical facts here. They don't have AJ. They don't have Devontae. They don't have Lane. You could argue those are the 3 most important players on the team if you remove Jalen. So looking at how this offense is going to, I think, struggle to move the ball, it's hard for me to see them scoring enough points to win this game. As good as the defense has been, I do wonder if it's a bit of a letdown game coming off that awesome performance in New Orleans. So I think that the Eagles lose this game. 2-2 going to the bye is nothing to be disappointed with. I think they lose 24-20.
24-20, that would be 44 points. That might be even higher scoring than some people think because both these teams have issues. We had a guest on a few minutes ago about their offensive line down in Tampa. They're missing one of their tackles. We know
the trap game angle to this is interesting, though. I didn't realize they played the Falcons on Thursday. You wonder if they're looking ahead here.
Eliot, I think that's a fair point. And the other side is the Eagles with a bye next week. So it's like two totally opposite views on the game. The Eagles have 2 weeks off before they welcome the Browns in, and the Bucs, Hugh, that is an interesting angle. The Bucs have to play a road game Thursday night in Atlanta. Like they could have some of their focus could be on Thursday rather than here. Hugh, what are you thinking? Eliot's got it as a Bucs victory. Hugh, how do you break this one down?
I echo some of Eliot's sentiments, but the thing that I think about is the Todd Bowles factor, Coach Bowles factor, and the fact that he knows Jalen Hurts. He knows his deficiencies pretty well. And I think Jalen has done a pretty good job of trying to work through those deficiencies, but I just think this game is a little bit too early in the season, and the fact that you have your number 1 and number 2 receiver gone. So I'm going 21-14. I'm going Bucs in this one.
21-14. So another pick for the Buccaneers. All right, I have been off picking the games this year. I thought they'd be around this record through 3 weeks, but I didn't think it happened the way it did with the Packers win and the Atlanta loss and then the win last week. I'm going to pick them to win the game today. This is more of a fate of Tampa than it is the Eagles. I think these teams – I don't think Tampa's very good. And I think Baker Mayfield last week showed a lot of issues, and they had a lot of issues up front. I'm going to bank on the Eagles' defensive line playing well again.
Okay.
And Jalen Carter playing well again. I think Quinyon Mitchell gets his first interception. And then the Eagles are going to find a way today. 21.
What does Bryce Huff do?
I didn't mention him for a reason. 21-19. I've got the Eagles winning the game. I think they're going to find a way to win in Tampa. And today feels ugly. Yeah, you wanted me to mention Bryce Huff, didn't you? What do you want me to say? I didn't know he was going to play.
No, it was just the way you said it, though. It was like, oh, I'm not going to.
I got nothing about him.
I will say this right before we wrap up. Here in the stadium, there's a lot of Eagles fans here. So despite the obvious travel issues and everything that's happened down here, Eagles fans definitely showed up.
Gotta love those Eagles fans, man.
All right, give me an X factor, guys, because you guys both went against them today, picking the other side. If the Eagles are to prove you wrong today, Eliot, how does it happen?
I'm going to go with Cooper DeJean. Britton Covey had a 52-yard punt return last year against the Bucs in the playoff game. Obviously, he's not playing today, but Cooper showed in college he could be a dangerous punt returner. Spadero mentioned they have a new punter for the Buccaneers. Maybe he gets, an advantageous punt. He makes a big play where in a close game, field position will be huge.
Hugh, if the Eagles do find a way today, it's because who makes a big play? Go ahead.
You already know where I'm going with this one. It's going to be because of Bryce Huff. He's going to have a 2-sack day. This isn't about the Eagles to me. This is about Bryce Huff and him getting off the schneid. I don't know if you guys have heard the story, but a lot of people are talking about the fact that he scrubbed his Instagram of all Eagles stuff. I'm not worried about that. This young man is going to have the game of his life today, and the Eagles might win. I don't believe that, but they might win.
He's speaking into existence, yes. Douglas. All right, Eliot, thank you for being part of the show, and we'll talk to you this week. There he goes, Eliot down in Tampa. going to cover the game. Fun predictions there, fun show. And that wraps up the Verizon pregame show. Remember to stay tuned after the game for the PDQ Restaurant Point of Sale Systems postgame show with Rob Ellis and Jason Avant. For Mike Angelina, Austin Yim, Andrew Swank, Dan Wilson, Dave Breitmeyer, Hugh Douglas, and Eliot Shorr-Parks, I'm Joe Giglio. Now stay tuned for Merrill and Mike as they bring you all the action on the Eagles Radio Network presented by PNC. Brilliantly boring since 1865 on 94 WIP.
Peace.